On June 29, 2025, a routine wildfire call in Idaho spiraled into a nightmare for first responders. A young gunman perched in a tree rained bullets on firefighters, killing 2 in cold blood. What drove Wes Rowley to erase his chilling Instagram post and target the very heroes he once idolized? If you're new here, smash that like button and ring the bell so you don't miss our weekly deep dives into cases like this. Picture this. Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, a postcard-perfect town of about 56,000 people nestled near the Washington border. It's got everything: crystal-clear lakes, towering pines, and a tight-knit community where everyone knows each other. Canfield Mountain, just east of town, is a local gem. Hikers and bikers flock to its trails for breathtaking views. But on June 29, 2025, at 1:21 p.m., this peaceful paradise turned into a war zone. Kootenai County Dispatch received a 911 call, reporting a brush fire in Nettleton Gulch, a rugged area on the mountain's east side. Firefighters from Kootenai County Fire and Rescue and the Coeur d'Alene Fire Department jumped into action, thinking it was just another routine call. They loaded up their trucks, grabbed their gear, and headed out. What they didn't know was that someone was watching, waiting, and planning something horrific. Sheriff Bob Norris later revealed a chilling detail. The fire wasn't an accident. It was deliberately set to lure these firefighters into a deadly trap. And when they arrived, all hell broke loose. Around 2 p.m., as the firefighters started battling the blaze, shots rang out from the woods. It was absolute chaos. Bullets tore through the air, pinning the crews down. The 911 calls, later released to the public, are gut-wrenching.
Immediately up here, we've got 2 unresponsive battalion chiefs, gunshot wounds, multiple gunshot wounds.
2 battalion chiefs, Frank Harwood, 42, and John Morrison, 52, were struck and killed instantly. A 3rd firefighter, Dave Tisdell, 47, was hit and critically injured, crawling behind a fire truck for cover as the shooter kept firing. The attack wasn't a quick hit and run. It went on for hours. The firefighters were trapped, unable to fight the fire or escape. Sheriff Bob Norris described it as a total ambush. The suspect, later identified as Wes Rowley, had planned this meticulously. Authorities believe he used his background as an arborist, working for his father's tree-cutting company, to position himself high in a tree, giving him a clear line of sight. He was armed with a high-powered sporting rifle, picking off his targets with terrifying precision. The response was massive. Over 300 law enforcement officers, including FBI agents, flooded the mountain. Helicopters with snipers circled overhead, and police used cell phone data to track Rowley's movements, narrowing down his location. By 7 p.m., after a grueling 5-hour standoff, SWAT teams found Rowley's body on a popular tourist trail next to a shotgun. His death was likely self-inflicted, but the damage was done. The fire, which grew to 26 acres, couldn't be fought until the threat was neutralized, leaving the mountain scarred and the community shattered. So, who was Wes Rowley, the man behind this horrific attack? According to the Kootenai County Coroner's Office, Rowley was a 20-year-old born on May 1, 2005, in California. He'd lived in Arizona and Idaho, moving to Coeur d'Alene in 2023 to work for his father's tree-cutting business. By 2025, he was reportedly living out of his car, a detail that paints a picture of a transient, possibly unstable life. The Coeur d'Alene Police Department and Kootenai County Sheriff's Office had 5 interactions with him, but they were minor, mostly trespassing incidents. Sheriff Bob Norris said, "They were very, very minor in nature. He was asked to leave a location and cooperated. No criminal history, no red flags, at least not on paper." But then we get to his social media, and things take a dark turn. Hours before the ambush, Rowley posted an Instagram story that was later deleted, either by him, someone else, or the platform itself. Lieutenant Mark Ellis of the Sheriff's Office distributed copies to the media, but they haven't released the contents. Was it a cryptic hint at his plans? A rant? A cry for help? We don't know, but the fact that it vanished right before the attack is suspicious as hell. The ATF is tracing the rifle he used, and detectives are combing through his phone and social media for answers, but so far, they're tight-lipped. Then there's what Rowley's grandfather, Dale Rowley, told NBC News. Wes dreamed of being a firefighter. He wanted to join the very department he targeted. But here's the kicker. There's no record of him ever applying. Did he face rejection, real or imagined, that pushed him over the edge? And it gets weirder. Classmates from his high school days told USA Today that Rowley had Nazi tendencies, drawing swastikas in a notebook and obsessing over guns. One said he'd talk about weapons non-stop, sketching rifles and talking about their power. But Sheriff Norris was clear. No manifesto was found, and there's no confirmed link to extremist groups. Still, those claims raise questions. Was Rowley a loner with a grudge, or was there a darker ideology brewing beneath the surface? Let's hold that thought and meet the heroes who lost their lives. Before we dig into the theories, let's honor the victims whose bravery defined this tragedy. This wasn't just an attack on firefighters, it was an attack on a community's heart. Frank Harwood, 42, was a 17-year veteran of Kootenai County Fire and Rescue. A married father of two, he served as a combat engineer in the Army National Guard before dedicating his life to protecting his community. Colleagues described him as a leader who always put others first. John Morrison, 52, was a 28-year veteran of the Coeur d'Alene Fire Department, rising to battalion chief. Known for his calm under pressure, he was a mentor to countless firefighters. The third victim, Dave Tisdall, 47, was critically injured but fought for his life through 2 surgeries. As of July 1, 2025, he was in stable condition, surrounded by family. These men weren't just first responders. They were husbands, fathers, and friends. When news of their deaths spread, Coeur d'Alene came to a standstill. Hundreds of residents lined Interstate 90, waving flags and holding signs as a procession carried Harwood and Morrison from Kootenai Health to Spokane. Governor Brad Little ordered flags across Idaho to fly at half-staff in their honor. A local resident, Linda Tiger, spoke to the BBC, her voice trembling. "This has never happened here. No one is safe from this kind of mental sadness." The community set up crowdfunding campaigns to support the families, and fire departments across the country sent messages of solidarity. The loss of these heroes left a wound that Coeur d'Alene is still struggling to heal. Now, let's dive into a theory that's been lighting up the internet, and it's wild. The ambush happened on June 29, 2025, exactly 24 years to the day after the Coeur d'Alene Fire Department burned down the headquarters of the Aryan Nations, a far-right hate group, in a training exercise on June 28 and 29, 2001. Let me break it down. Back in 1998, Aryan Nations security guards opened fire on a Native American woman, Victoria Keenan, and her son near their compound in Hayden Lake, just 7 miles from Coeur d'Alene. Keenan sued the group, won a $6.3 million judgment, and forced them into bankruptcy. She bought the dilapidated compound for $95,000 and sold it to a local philanthropist who allowed the Coeur d'Alene Fire Department to burn it down as a training exercise. On those 2 days in 2001, firefighters set the compound ablaze, reducing a symbol of hate to ashes. Fast forward to 2025, and some locals and social media are buzzing with a chilling question. Was Wes Rowley seeking revenge for that act? Those classmates' reports about his Nazi tendencies, drawing swastikas, obsessing over guns, fuel the speculation. Could Rowley have seen the fire department as a target for destroying a place tied to extremist ideology? Here's the reality check. Sheriff Norris and investigators have found no evidence linking Rowley to the Aryan nations or any neo-Nazi group. The date might be a coincidence, but it's eerie enough to keep people talking. And there's another case that makes this feel even creepier. The 2012 Webster, New York firefighter shooting. In that tragedy, a gunman set a fire to lure firefighters, then ambushed them, killing 2. The parallels are striking. A deliberate fire, a sniper-style attack, a community left reeling. Did Rowley study that case? Was he inspired by it? We don't know. But the pattern adds another layer to this mystery. So, if the Aryan nations theory doesn't hold up, what drove Wes Rowley to commit this massacre? Let's break down the leading possibilities. First, there's the firefighter rejection angle. Rowley's grandfather, Dale Rowley, told NBC News that Wes dreamed of being a firefighter, just like the men he targeted. But investigators found no record of him applying to any fire department. Could he have felt rejected, maybe by the Coeur d'Alene Fire Department itself, and let that resentment fester into rage? Second, there's the mental health angle. Living out of his car, having minor run-ins with police for trespassing and reportedly being a loner, suggest Rowley was struggling. Was this a cry for help that turned deadly? Third, those classmates' reports about Nazi tendencies are hard to ignore. Drawing swastikas, obsessing over guns. Could Rowley have been radicalized online, even if he wasn't part of an organized group? Sheriff Norris said no manifesto was found, but the ATF is still tracing his rifle, and detectives are digging into his phone and social media for clues. Then there's that Instagram story, the biggest mystery of all. Posted just hours before the ambush, it was wiped from his account shortly after. Lieutenant Mark Ellis confirmed, "Police have copies, but they haven't shared what it said." Was it a hint at his plans? A rant about firefighters? Or just a coincidence? And let's not forget the Webster, New York case from 2012, where a gunman used a fire to ambush firefighters. The similarities, setting a fire, targeting first responders, are uncanny. Did Rowley research that attack and decide to copy it? Social media have thrown out wild theories, like drug cartels or human trafficking, but there's zero evidence to support those. What we do know is that Rowley used a flint starter to ignite the fire, per Sheriff Norris, making this a calculated, intentional act. The ATF's weapon trace and the digital forensics on his phone might finally crack this case, but for now, we're left with a puzzle that's as chilling as it is baffling. The Idaho Firefighters ambush is a tragedy that's left Coeur d'Alene and the nation in shock. Frank Harwood and John Morrison gave their lives as heroes, protecting their community until the very end. Dave Tisdall's survival is a testament to their courage, but the scars of this day will linger. Wes Rowley's motive, whether it was a grudge, a mental breakdown, or something darker, remains locked in that deleted Instagram post and the evidence still being uncovered. What do you think pushed him to this breaking point? Drop your theories in the comments below, but please, keep it respectful for the families still grieving. This case is far from closed and we'll keep you updated as new details emerge. Hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more true crime stories that dig deep. Stay curious, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.